I now belong to a higher cult of mortals, for I have seen the Albatross. The global population of seabirds has deteriorated rapidly over recent decades. According to the IUCN, of the 359 species on Earth, 31% are listed as globally threatened. A recent study has documented a 70% loss in monitored seabird populations globally since the 1950s, and numbers are still dropping. The Sub-Antarctic islands, including Marion, Prince Edward, Gough, and Tristan Albatross, represent vital breeding areas for many of these seabirds. Despite their inhospitable climate, treacherous bogs, and volcanic and glaciated landscapes, the Prince Edward Islands are home to hundreds of thousands of breeding seabirds: penguins, albatrosses, petrels, and prions. There are several factors responsible for the decline of seabirds, although the three largest are fishing bycatch, alien invasives, and climate change. To make it worse, many seabirds are facing all three threats at once.
I would say one of the biggest threats to seabirds globally is bycatch fisheries, definitely. Every year, thousands of seabirds are being killed in longline fisheries and in uh, hauling nets that drag up albatross by the thousands. So, how it works is the albatross will dive down to grab the fish off the long line, but then their beaks will get hooked and they're pulled up and they are actually drowned as the long line pulls them up to the surface.
Bycatch affects around 100 species of seabird and is considered to have the greatest average impact on seabirds on the global scale. At least 160,000 seabirds are removed by longline fishing operations annually, although a long-term study documented that 52% of seabirds caught at the line-setting stage were lost because they fell off the hook before the line could be hauled back into the vessel and the bycatch recorded.
But it's not all doom and gloom. I would say there are some glimmers of hope, and this is where the good thing, where human ingenuity and development comes in.
The Albatross Task Force, in collaboration with BirdLife South Africa, has reduced fishing bycatch off the coast of South Africa by as much as 99% in some trawl fisheries. This has been done through the use of simple yet affordable solutions. These include bird scaring lines, which act as visual deterrents to keep seabirds from cable strikes, managing offal or fish gut discharge during periods of high risk, minimizing the amount of setting and hauling time, and setting nets and hooks during the nighttime periods, when many seabirds are not active. However, these changes can only help birds fishing out at sea. On land, seabirds have other problems to deal with. Alien invasive species affect 165 species of seabirds across all threatened groups. The most famous example of this is the occurrence of the house mouse on Sub-Antarctic islands, which have been recorded eating seabird chicks alive.
The Mouse-Free Marion project is a project to eradicate mice from Marion Island. Their numbers have increased quite significantly since we started measuring. So the first measurements of mice on the island happened in the 1970s, and there have been repeat measures at regular intervals, and their numbers have really increased. Initially, they only noticed or saw instances of the mice eating seabird chicks, but more recently they've even seen instances of adults being eaten by the mice. And so this has obviously had an impact on the recruitment of the seabirds on Marion Island, and especially because they have these long, seabirds only nest every second year, and then they produce only one chick. So if that one chick is killed by the mice, of course it has a big impact on the populations of the seabirds.
Left uncontrolled, it is feared that 18 of the 28 species of seabirds breeding on Marion Island may be vulnerable to local extinction. Should enough money be raised, Mouse-Free Marion will begin mouse eradication on Marion Island in 2025. One of the greatest threats to seabirds globally may not be immediately visible, but its effects are dramatic, affecting 96 species of seabirds worldwide. The changing climate of the Earth has brought new challenges to seabirds in the Sub-Antarctic, one of the greatest being the shift of frontal systems towards the South Pole.
Frontal systems are really important in the ocean because it's the sort of in-between zone where you have some Antarctic and subantarctic waters combining. So it's kind of like an ecotone, the two really productive waters, and because the polar front is shifting more towards the poles, that causes birds then to often, they have to fly further. So some of your smaller seabirds who have to actively fly, flap their wings a lot if they have to fly further, that's a massive increase in energy expenditure, which then again has other negative effects on the amount of energy they can have, so it affects longevity, whether the amount of, do they breed annually, do they skip breed. So if you have those classic life history trade-offs, do I have to get more energy, or do I and rather skip breeding this year, or do I invest in breeding, and what quality will my offspring be? So those type of decisions then result in individuals rather investing in their survival than producing, which affects population numbers.
The changing of Earth's climate has also brought on unpredictable weather patterns. Frequent and intense winds, storms, swells, and heavy rainfall have flooded nests, washed away eggs, and blown incubating adults off of eggs or nestlings. Despite their strong bonds, albatrosses recognize their chicks only by their presence on the nest. If chicks are blown off the nest, parents will no longer recognize them and will not feed the chick until it's back on the nest. As with the other factors mentioned, we can only solve this problem through a collaborative effort. Human ingenuity, resilience, and our compassion knows no bounds. If we set our minds to anything, we can achieve it. It is now more than ever that we must set our minds to turning back the effects of climate change, take responsibility for the past, and shape a brighter future for the world.